Hello to you from Inside Drug Discovery. This video presents a new drug, Icotyde, which was recently approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. This video focuses mostly on the medicinal chemistry properties of the drug rather than the efficacy of the drug in patients. Icotyde was approved on March 17, 2026. Icotyde is approved for the treatment of moderate to severe plaque psoriasis in adults and pediatric patients of at least 12 years of age with a mass of at least 40 kilograms and who are candidates for systemic therapy or phototherapy. Icotyde's active pharmaceutical ingredient is icotrokinra. We'll talk more about its interesting structure in a later slide. The drug is administered orally once per day in a 200 milligram dose. The applicant for the NDA is Johnson & Johnson, with Protagonist Therapeutics being a partner in the discovery process. A link to the prescribing information insert of Icotyde is shown on this slide, as well as in the video description. Plaque psoriasis is the most common form of psoriasis. It is a chronic inflammatory skin disorder. Plaque psoriasis often appears as scaly plaques on the scalp, elbows, knees, and the lower back. Plaque psoriasis is extremely common and affects 1 to 3% of the global population. Plaque psoriasis, like many inflammatory conditions, has been linked to many factors: genetic, immunologic, and environmental. What is Icotyde's mechanism of action? The API in Icotyde acts on the interleukin-23 receptor as an antagonist. Its potency is exquisite, with a Ki of 7 picomolar. Through blocking IL-23R, the compound inhibits the release of pro-inflammatory cytokines with a downstream effect of suppressing inflammation associated with plaque psoriasis. On the screen is icotrokinra, the API in Icotyde. I will note that icotrokinra is formulated as its hydrochloride salt in Icotyde. Icotrokinra is a peptide drug with 13 residues. The N-terminus, which is acetylated, is down towards the bottom, and the C-terminus, which is a C-terminal amide, is over on the right. By my eye, this compound shows a huge amount of optimization. There aren't many natural amino acids in this chain. Let's start at the N-terminus. There is a cysteine with gem-dimethyl groups to stabilize the disulfide bridge. Here is a natural asparagine. Next is a natural threonine. Next is a tryptophan, which has an extra methyl group in the 7 position. There is a lysine with N-acetylation. Here is another cysteine that again has the gem-dimethyl substitution. There is a tyrosine with an amino ethyl ether on the OH. Here is a phenylalanine that has benzo substitution. Next is a glycine, which has this tetrahydropyran with the spirofusion. Next is a natural aspartic acid, another natural asparagine. Now we have another phenylalanine, but there's a nitrogen group, so this is some kind of aza-phenylalanine. And finally, we have a sarcosine residue for the N-terminal amide. Protagonist Therapeutics, which worked with Johnson & Johnson, specializes in the discovery of orally available peptides, and their effort is apparent in all these modified residues. The molecular weight of icotrokinra is around 1900 grams per mole. So this compound is way outside typical oral drug space. It's somewhat amazing that the compound can be administered orally. On this slide are selected PK properties of icotrokinra. The half-life is 12 hours. The volume of distribution is over 90,000 liters. That is an eye-popping volume of distribution, but keep in mind that the oral bioavailability of the compound is unknown. It is entirely possible that the oral bioavailability is tiny for this peptide drug, even well below 1%. Assuming this drug has very poor membrane permeability, I would guess that this drug is essentially confined to the plasma and interstitial fluid. The fact that the blood-to-plasma ratio is 0.53 supports the idea of low permeability. The volume of the plasma and interstitial fluid is about 14 liters in a typical patient. If the VD equals 14 liters and VD over F is 92,800 liters, then F is 0.00015 or 0.015%. I do not know if that is anywhere close to the real value, but it's my best guess. The bioavailability does not need to be high. It just needs to be high enough to give efficacious exposure, which is helped by the high potency of the drug. If you have any insight to share on the PK of icotrokinra, please leave a comment in this video. For metabolism, icotrokinra is broken down into smaller peptides, likely by circulating proteases. Because icotrokinra has poor membrane permeability, it likely does not even enter hepatocytes to be broken down through traditional hepatic metabolic pathways. Between 37 and 81% of the dose is excreted unchanged in feces within 24 hours. This is yet more evidence that the bulk of the administered drug is not absorbed, but simply passes through the patient. Only a minuscule fraction is excreted unchanged in urine. This percentage would be the minimum, the floor of the oral bioavailability. And my estimate from the previous slide is about 15-fold higher than this number. Icotyde has relatively few safety concerns. Under warnings and precautions, patients should avoid treatment if they have an active infection, with tuberculosis being specifically called out. Patients should also not receive vaccinations with live viruses. Adverse reactions observed in at least 1% of patients include headache, nausea, cough, fungal infection, and fatigue. We're now at the end of this summary of the NDA approval of Icotyde, which was announced by the US FDA on March 17th of 2026. Icotyde contains icotrokinra as its active pharmaceutical ingredient. Icotyde is approved to treat moderate to severe plaque psoriasis in patients of at least 12 years of age. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a comment or a like or subscribe to the channel. Take care.